Good morning, my dear students. Myself Veena. I have done my MBA in Finance, PGD HRM, and I am also pursuing MCom. Now, coming to the academics, I have 10 years of experience, so I will be teaching corporate administration for you. So, I think you will have a wonderful journey with us, and you have chosen a very good college, Vision Degree College. So I would like to welcome you all for this institution, and you should go to the great heights. You have chosen a very good course, BCom, which will have a wide scope in the market. You can do MCom, you can do MBA, CA, CS, many more. So coming to the subject, corporate administration is all about administering the corporate sectors. Today I will be giving just an introduction of all the modules of corporate administration. Now, corporate administration, as I told you, it is like you are going to study different companies, corporate sectors, who are the people managing that, and lot more. So, I will be giving you a typed notes and also a soft copy of the notes, but I suggest you all to maintain a separate notebook, and whatever I am teaching you on a daily basis in the online classes, you have to maintain that, and you have to see that you just glance it every day just for 5 minutes, so that you need not memorize or mother. So let's start today's class. Welcome you all to the Vision Degree College. Okay, now coming to this subject, corporate administration is a very interesting subject where you will be studying about different companies and their administration. Now, your syllabus comes under Bangalore North University syllabus, where you will have 5 units. All the 5 units have the equal importance. Unit 1 is about introduction to a company. Unit 2, formation of a company. Unit 3, company administration. Unit 4, corporate meetings. Unit 5, global companies. So in all these 5 units, you will have 1 2 marks, 1 6 marks, and 1 14 marks questions. Later I will explain about question paper pattern. Now let's start with the first unit, introduction to a company. Now see a definition. A joint stock company is an incorporated association formed for the purpose of carrying on some business. See here, some business means it can be anything, like from a small petty shop to a big businessman. That is, you can take from small petty shop which is on the roadsides to the big companies like Infosys, Tata, Reliance, etc. So, see, any person will start a business with the intention to make profit, right? Will any business is start for the purpose of making loss? No. So, every person's intention is that he wants to make sufficient profit. But to start a business, there are so many set of rules and regulations. So here in this chapter, you will be studying different classification or kinds of companies, who are the promoters, how to start the company, what are the rules and regulations to be followed to start a business. Now coming to the second meaning, see, it is an artificial person having a distinctive name and a common seal. See, a company should have a peculiar name. Distinctive name means peculiar name with a common seal. Common seal means, you know that for your institutions, when you take ID card or admission, they put a seal. In the same way, a company will have a common seal. Only with that seal, the documents will be valid. If there is signature or no signature also, without seal, there is no validity. Understood? So, suppose if you sell or purchase a property, will you put a signature? Or the bank account what you will have a signature and it will be in your name. In the same way, for a company all bank documents, property documents, everything should be in the company name. And at the same way, the company will have a common seal. With that common seal only, the company's documents will be valid. If an accountant signs without a seal, then the document is not valid. No one is going to accept that document. Now let's start with the second unit introduction. See, second unit is about formation of a company. Now here the companies are classified into private company and a public company. You all know that there are private companies and public companies. Now how they can start a business? See, a private company can commence its business immediately. Commence means they can start a business immediately. When? After securing certificate of incorporation from registrar of companies. That is, the company to start its business, they have to get enrolled under Companies Act. Then the registrar will give the certificate of incorporation. As soon as they get the certificate of incorporation, they can start their business. But it is different in the case of public company. See, a public company has to secure certificate of commencement of business in addition to certificate of incorporation. That is, along with commencement certificate, they should get incorporation certificate also. Only then, if they have both, they can start the business. Whereas for private company, it is not the case. So in this chapter you will be studying in detail about both private company and a public company, the difference between them, what are the rules and regulation, who is going to manage, how many members will come under them. So all these I will be explaining you in detail when we come to the second unit. Coming to the third unit, it is about company administration. You all know that there is a requirement of some person who will administer or who will manage the company or an organization. So here the company will be administered or managed by three people as given there: board of directors, managing directors and company secretary. So the company can be managed by the different department managers who come under these. But always remember, at the top management, the board of directors and managing directors are going to administer or manage the organization or a company. Under them, the different department heads or the managers will manage. So in this chapter you will be studying in detail about the board of directors, the powers and functions of BODs, managing directors and the company secretaries. After your BCom, you will have more value if you do CA or CS. You all know that CS is nothing but company secretary. So we will go to the next chapter. Now, Unit 4 is about corporate meetings. Now, what are these corporate meetings? The corporate meetings are of different types: annual general meetings, extraordinary general meetings, board meetings and resolutions, requisites of a valid meeting. Now, in an organization or in a company, the meetings are to be held annually with the help of the shareholders and all the members of the company. Now, how these meetings are to be held, how the records have to be maintained, what about extraordinary general meeting? Is there any difference between annual meetings and extraordinary meetings? Why extraordinary meetings have to be conducted? What about board meetings? Board meeting means only board of directors will be there or other members of the company also will be there? And what is this requisites of a valid meeting? What do you mean by valid or invalid? So, all these concepts let's study in detail. When that chapter comes, I will be explaining in detail. But you should know that a company should conduct a valid meetings and annual meetings to discuss about the curriculum, or the annual discussions should happen about the different departments and about the growth of the organization. Our next unit is about global companies. See, a global company is a company which has its operations and business in different countries around the world or throughout the globe. So, you know about the difference between national, international, and global. National products means it will be purchased and sold within the nation. International products means the export and import happens within few countries, whereas global companies means its branches, its products, its services are available throughout the globe. You can purchase and sell in whichever country you want. Now, these global companies have some legal formalities. So, and how it has to be managed. In this chapter, you will be studying about the global companies, what are the rules and regulations to manage the global companies, what are the legal formalities the companies should fulfill to purchase or to sell its products to the other countries. See, it's not very easy to purchase or sell the products for different countries. There will be some legal formalities which you have to satisfy. Then only you will be permitted to have business with the other countries. And how to administer all these national countries. And at the same time, you will have so many advantages as well as disadvantages through these global companies. So let's study in detail later. Thank you all. I hope you all had a wonderful session, and in next class we will be starting with unit 1, and all of you, I expect that you should be regular to the classes and listen to the classes carefully. Only then you will have the continuation to the next chapters. Okay, so have a wonderful time, study well, all the best for your future career, and you will have a very good journey with us. Thank you.